to a podcast for nerds. The show where two dudes who met as kids discuss our journey with all things nerdy, as well as life in our
30s.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Cody.
And this is a podcast for nerds.
This was someone's first episode, and they clicked away before they made it here. They're like, these guys are very drab. I cannot listen to this. Where did you come up? What was your goal with that one?
I don't know.
Did you have an inspiration?
I don't know. I guess I was thinking the abridged version of Guru.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like, I am an adult.
Yeah.
So I guess
Okay.
that's where I was coming from. But I was just like, brrr.
Well, welcome back to the show, guys. What are we talking about today?
Well, last week, we went over some news, Cody. So today I figured we'd talk about, we'd catch up. What are we doing? What are we watching,
Sure.
Things like that.
You want to go first? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been, sure, yeah, I'll talk first. I've, of course, been reading Kaiju number 8.
Oh, right.
Very good. Still very good. The main girl, there's a girl in it. I can't think of her name right now. But she's supposed to be like, she's the tsundere character. And if you like tsunderes, fine.
I'm over it. I thought tsunderes were all right when I was like a teenager, early 20s, but now I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I'm done with tsunderes. I don't get it. Fine, whatever. But she's a tsundere. And the first cool thing to me that has happened with her is she gets this big FU weapon. It's really cool, and I like it. As an aside, what kind of dere do you prefer, Cody?
I wish you wouldn't have asked me that.
Oh no.
This shows my lack of knowledge. I don't know all of them. I don't know the differences. I know tsundere, and that's about it.
I've come up with the 2 that I like. I looked into it one time. There's like 50.
Okay.
There's not that many. There's a lot.
So these are just female character types, or no?
I think it can transfer to male too. But,
Oh, okay.
My 2 typings that I liked the most were, I can't remember what it was called, but the one was they're shy, quiet, nice, which explains my wife.
Okay.
Because she's shy, quiet, and nice.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one I've found that I like when it comes to anime characters is I like yanderes.
Yandere is like kill you, right?
Yeah, that's I think from Future Diary. It's
like tsundere, but without the nice parts and turned up.
No. See, yanderes are nice. That's the thing. They're just crazy.
Why do you like this character type?
I can fix her.
I can fix
She's
her?
nice when she's nice.
I think that's how you would feel about tsundere.
No.
Because
No, she's mean.
But tsundere is
the yandere is going to be nice to me when I want her to be. She's going to hold me and be like, oh, everything's okay. And I'll be like, thank you.
But I do want to defend tsundere for a second. Because I understand why you don't like this character type. And me too, it's not my favorite, but I think they're an interesting character type if done right.
Okay.
Where you can make them complicated and like things happen to them and there's a reason that they act this way. I would give like Asuka for an example. I think she's Evangelion.
I need to see Evangelion. Her character was fine.
She's definitely a tsundere.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's fine.
I think the thing is like you can't. I don't think we can just say tsundere are all bad. It's like some of them are just I think not well written.
Yeah, they do. They have that trope we talk about on here where they think that making a strong female character means you have to make her mean, which is not the case. At all.
For sure. Look at Mikasa.
Mikasa is awesome. She's
One of
not
the
mean.
Best character in the show.
She's stoic. That's about as far as you get with her.
You can make the argument she's the best character in the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with it or not.
You can make
have
that
to think
argument
about
for
it.
sure.
But
I think Mikasa's a little overrated, but that's just me.
Always
I'm a Sasha fan. Can't help it. Talk about overrated.
Are you a contrarian person, like personality type? You just like to. I mean, I'm actually curious. Do you know? Do you always like go for what's not popular? Or?
Not always, but it tends to happen. I have noticed it. It does. It's not always like typically, Some people would say they prefer Agumon. Well, sorry, I like Garurumon.
Who's your favorite Straw Hat? We're not going to get into talking about One Piece, but just for this.
My favorite Straw Hat, Brooke, which is everybody's least favorite Brooke.
You're contrarian. Okay. You just
I didn't
answered
even
that
mean
for
to.
me.
I just love Brooke. He's
Brooke's
funny.
not the least. Everyone's least favorite is Frankie.
Oh, you're right. Brooke's down
Yeah.
there though.
Yeah, Brooke is down there. I love both of them, but
I love Frankie, but Frankie probably is. I don't like his post time skip design.
it grew on me a lot. But I still, when I rewatched pre-time skip a couple years ago, last year or whenever it was, man, I missed that Frankie.
I know, and you're not really with him that long either. Is the
You're
thing.
not, and
you're
it
with
sucks.
him long enough to fall in love with him, and then he turns into a giant something.
My problem is he feels like a different character. He doesn't, but he does.
Yeah,
It's like
it's still Frankie, but it just doesn't look like Frankie.
I think that if there's anything that I don't want to get into One Piece, but if there's anything that I would like, what's the word? Criticize Oda on, other than like the very obvious stuff of like how every female character looks.
The exact same, dude.
Yeah, but other than that, if there's one thing that I would criticize is like I just think he just went too far with Frankie. Maybe that's personal opinion, but anyway, what were we talking about?
How I'm a contrarian.
Before that,
I don't remember.
Tsundere. Why were we talking about Tsundere?
I don't remember.
You were watching something or reading something. We were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
the
what you're
character.
doing.
The character is a bit of a tsundere, but she got a really cool weapon.
Oh, okay.
What else am I doing? I've been kind of slowly reading through the Yu-Gi-Oh manga as I do. You know, it's good, and you can definitely. I realized that when you were talking about Taiji last week. Kaiji, you're right. Sorry.
Which you guys missed that episode. That's the one we weren't able to post. But I've been reading a manga called Kaiji.
That's what you should have recommended last week.
You think so?
Yeah. By last week, I mean 20 minutes ago. But
You're right. It is what I should have recommended. But Kaiji, guys, if you've never read, I think it's called Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji, and that's the name in English. Gotta read it. You gotta read it. It's like a gambling with your life.
Kind of like a death game, kind of.
Think what's it called? Squid Game.
Yeah,
It's super similar.
So a death game show.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga is, but for kids.
But what were you saying about it? You said-
It's I have that same issue you had where you're like, this art is not good.
Really? The Yu-Gi-Oh manga art is not good?
Not always.
Oh.
Like,
I mean, Kaiji's easier for me because Kaiji is consistently
let
horrible.
me see if I can pull up a picture that I sent to somebody.
I don't think I've seen one frame where I thought Kaiji looked good. Like one panel.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh definitely looks good in a lot of it, but you can
Okay.
tell where the artist likes to draw and where he was rushed. Like
Yeah, let's see.
let's see. I'll pull it up for the listeners. Do you want to talk while I'm pulling this up?
So yeah, I've been reading Kaiji and it's ugly, but it's really worth reading. When you start reading it, you're going to say, this is the ugliest manga I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I can't guarantee that. I don't know what you've read, but it was for me. But I think within 1 or 2 chapters, you're hooked. It's so good.
All right, I found it. So this is a bully character. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the stream, but this is a bully character. That's in one. This is his introduction.
This is cool art. This is cool.
He looks like a thumb.
Yeah, but he's a bully. Like Thanos.
He doesn't get any. He doesn't improve. His face is that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a fan of that.
Oh, Lord. I just think I can see where you come from, and the character, it's just ugly.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that that's bad art. I think that's just weird character design. Like One Piece stuff.
Maybe I'm just confusing my...
Yeah, because like
I'm
One
not
Piece,
much of an... I'm not a good art critic. I never have been.
One Piece, great art, weird character designs. So like people say they hate the art style of One Piece. They're not saying the art's bad. They're saying I hate the style.
It's like Claymore, because the artist has a tendency to draw the eyes really far apart and the upper lip jutting out really far.
Really?
Like especially on a profile.
Isn't that like Simpsons?
I guess sort of.
When you describe it, it sounds like it.
But the show's so good, and it's like if tell people I don't like the art style. No, you don't like the character design. Just get past the character design.
I've grown to a point where I don't care about art style. I don't care about character design anymore. I'm all in for the story. If the story's good, I don't care. Because I love One Piece and I love Kaiji, which is ugly. But I just don't. When I was like a teenager, I would have cared about those things. I don't know how I got into One Piece.
I could see that.
It doesn't make sense.
It's or Dragon Ball even. Dragon Ball's kind of ugly.
Well, I mean,
The
Dragon
anime.
Ball, but I got into that as a kid.
fair
So,
enough.
you know, when you're a kid, you watch a lot of stuff with weird, ugly art styles.
Well, you said the same thing about One Piece though. Just now.
But I wasn't a kid when I got into One Piece. I was a teenager,
what you're
but I
saying,
was
okay.
judgy at that point.
I see.
Yeah, you're not judgy when you're like, I got into Dragon Ball like 8 or 9 or something. I don't know how old I was, but I was young.
You're little.
Yeah, little guy.
He's a little guy.
Still a little guy.
So what else have I been doing? So we got this ugly dude right here. And I finally am catching up on My Hero Academia right now. I know you haven't watched a single episode, right?
No, I watched like 6.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, back in the day, 6 episodes of season 1.
Okay, but that was back when like you were like I don't know, I feel like back then you would start something and then you just were I'm not great at this either. You would start something and then like your hype would die down on it and then you just would slowly stop.
When I was watching My Hero Academia was the exact time when I was getting out of nerd stuff.
Convention reviews.
Yeah, I was getting out of... It wasn't just convention reviews. At that time, I was getting out of like... Oh, you like that thing, right? That's a Digimon, right?
I do.
You know,
It
maybe
is.
it's not. I don't know.
It is. Wow. Yeah, that's a Magnamon, Flamedramon. I can never remember that one's name, but he's the best one.
Tigermon. That's Entei,
not-
Suicune, and...
I want to say Thundermon, but I don't think that's right. He's the flame of courage, and he's the storm of friendship.
Sorry, we're looking at the picture behind us. For audio listeners, got a little distracted.
I have a model of Magnamon that I'm building. It doesn't look that cool, but it's like anime accurate.
At that time, when I was trying to watch My Hero Academia, yeah, that's when I was getting out of like all things nerdy. It wasn't just the convention stuff. I just wanted to do other stuff. I had been in this like nerdy world for so long.
You were
and
betraying who you were.
I don't think that's true.
I know. I'm just
I think it was just a natural evolution of I wanted to do other stuff, and then now the natural evolution is that I did that other stuff, and now these two things that I've done kind of can collide now and be one, make me a more well-rounded person, I guess. But yeah, so I didn't finish. I didn't continue to watch My Hero.
Well, it's over. It's like 130 episodes now, Cody.
I heard it's not worth watching. A lot of people, I've seen so many people say that like the first few seasons are really great, but by like season 5 or 6 or something, it's not good anymore.
Dude, the current season?
Really?
Insane.
I mean, I believe you because, you know, I've watched plenty of stuff.
And
where...
I feel that this is me.
Uh-huh.
I do think My Hero does get a little more credit than it deserves.
Really?
A little bit because
It's not Attack on Titan good?
it's unfair to compare those two. They're two
Okay.
different. They're two different beasts. Like I really don't like comparing them because Attack on Titan is so much more adult
Okay.
than that, whereas it's not FMA good. Like if you're gonna compare it to anything, like
They are both Bones, right? Studio
yeah,
Bones.
or even One Piece. It's not One Piece.
Is it Soul Eater good?
I'd say it's better than Soul Eater.
Better than Soul Eater?
I like it better than Soul Eater. But it's not Gurren good. Nothing is Gurren good to me.
Gurren's one of those special things where they just had 27 episodes and just knocked it out of the park. Like, put that story, compact story,
Yeah.
not drug out,
Nothing
nothing like that.
It's gonna take something huge to take Kingdom Hearts 2 off that top pedestal, and Gurren off that top pedestal, and my favorite movie off it. It takes
Gurren's your favorite anime?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when I pick a favorite, it takes a lot for something to knock it off that.
Not FMA.
No. FMA would probably be number 2.
Okay.
Number 2.
Not One Piece?
No, not One Piece.
Wow. What
I
about
like-
manga? Favorite
Manga. My favorite manga is Alita.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have it.
You have Alita to read?
Mhm.
Dude,
But I haven't yet.
you should read it.
Maybe after Kaiji.
Yes, dude.
I'm almost done with Kaiji.
I know you like those post-apocalyptic kind of settings. You like those cyberpunk. I know how much you like a cyberpunk setting. And
I can't like it that much. I didn't play Cyberpunk.
well, but I know how you like the setting though.
Tron.
Think like a Cowboy Bebop kind of thing. Yeah, or even Tron.
Don't get me started on Cowboy Bebop.
Well, the setting, Cody, not the.
I think it's overrated. There,
Of
I
course,
said it. We're
of
not
course.
gonna. We're not gonna talk about it.
I agree.
Save that for another time.
I agree, but we're talking the setting. The setting of Cowboy Bebop,
Cool.
no one will deny,
Pretty
is
cool.
awesome.
Pretty cool.
It's a lot like that. It has that early 90s like anime feel where everything just feels dystopian and dark.
Gritty.
Yes, dude. And it's very, very good. Very good. You'll like it.
Okay.
Or Vinland Saga. Read that too. That's also good.
My favorite manga is One Piece, but when I think about One Piece versus other manga, it's just not fair.
That's why I don't put it on my favorite.
I see One Piece as, I'm sorry, other manga, but like above you.
Yeah.
I mean, on a different category. I'm comparing One Piece to like Lord of the Rings. Like, not really, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, to these other huge worlds.
That is a very fair comparison, because I've made that before you and I ever even talked about it. Because I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and the lore for Tolkien stuff goes deep, and you can tell it's stuff he thought about constantly. And One Piece is exactly like that.
I think One Piece is, Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, Star Wars, like these big, like huge franchises that have so much content. It's unfair to compare stuff to that. Huh?
Kirby. I was just trying to think.
The pink ball?
Yeah, its lore goes deep.
It might. I don't know. I never got into Kirby, man.
I've tried.
Me too.
I've there's been a few games that I've played that I'm like, this is cute.
People love Kirby. I don't know why I can't get into it.
I can and I can't, whatever. But so I've been watching My Hero, and I do think you should watch it. It is very good. Don't listen to what people say. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, to me, honestly, I think my thing with My Hero is, like I was saying, I do think it is it gets a little too much hype. I don't think it's overrated necessarily, but it does get a little too hyped. But I think that's because in America, superheroes are so huge.
Yeah.
And that's
in
why
the whole world, because of Marvel. Literally, my students, when I ask them their favorite movies, and none of them are from America, they're always like, Marvel.
I mean, the Marvel movies are huge in Asia.
Yeah, everywhere.
I mean, so superheroes are the thing right now. So, I mean, it makes sense that a superhero anime in this time would be the anime that everyone's liking. Now, my thing about My Hero is that every year, every season, this happens. It'll come out and it'll start, and I won't want to watch it.
Okay.
And I'm like, because I'll think to myself, I don't know, do I want to watch My Hero? Part of it's kind of like, I'm afraid. It's one of those things where I'm afraid to watch it because I'm afraid to see what happens.
Oh.
Kind of one of those. But a lot of it's just like, do I want to watch My Hero? I don't know. Do I want to keep watching it? I know I'll watch it. I'll get to it eventually. And then I start watching it and I just fly through it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane.
Do characters you love die?
Seldom. But it does happen. And when it's one of those, it's what was I talking? I was comparing Lord of the Rings to Game of Thrones with my wife.
Oh, okay.
So I said, in Game of Thrones, death happens so often that when a character does die, yeah, it's sad, but you're immediately on to the next one. Not every character. Some hit harder than others.
You just reminded me of another thing I want to talk about.
I can't talk about House of the Dragon.
No. Well, later.
But
I'm gonna write that down.
When a character dies in Game of Thrones, you're so used to death that, like say when the character you love dies, you're like, no, I really liked him. Dang, I'm so mad that character died. Anyway, on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
In Lord of the Rings, when a character dies, it hurts because it doesn't happen a whole lot.
Right.
Or was it Lord? I'm pretty sure it was Lord of the Rings we were comparing it to.
I mean, that's like One Piece as well. Mm-hmm. When a character dies not in a flashback, the effing hurts.
That's happened so seldom, though.
Wise? Nope. Well, in Wano, quite a few died, but not big characters.
I'm convinced that nobody in One Piece is dead.
No.
They're all still alive. Somehow he'll figure out some bullcrap reason to bring them back.
If you reorder the letters in Sabo, it spells ace. No, I'm just playing.
That's hilarious. But so what were we comparing? We were talking
to My Hero Academia. I asked if characters die.
So yeah, when it does happen, dude. I
like that. I just want to be sure.
Now the thing about it though is they go through what I would some seasons are what I would call filler seasons.
Filler seasons.
That
Come
where it's
on,
hang on,
Dakota.
hang on. It's nothing really big happens story wise, and those seasons are usually like really short. There's only like 2 of them.
Then
Yeah.
why have them?
It's all character development. They take that time
Okay.
and they heavily invest in characters and get characters like there's one season where it's at least half the season is they've got like 3 tournament arcs, by the way.
Oh.
Each tournament, the first tournament's more traditional, and then the other 3 are a little less traditional.
Okay.
But they have different, like a few different tournament arcs.
I remember when the first one happened and people were talking about like, this might be the best tournament arc in anime. And I was like,
It's okay.
guys, you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, right? Like,
It's good.
Do not say that if you haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho.
The only reason that the first tournament got so much hype is because it was the first time we'd had a tournament arc like that
in a while.
Who knows how many years or decades. That just doesn't happen anymore.
I think the thing with tournament arcs is that like, and you can tell me how it went with My Hero, I don't know, but tournament arcs are only cool when it's not just we're fighting, when it's like there's secret stuff happening in the background and it somehow things get effed up a little bit and the story changes, but the tournament keeps going. I will say the one that I don't like is in the Boo Saga. That tournament arc, they completely ruin it because there is stuff happening in the background, but I'm interested in the tournament and then Vegeta just comes and ends that. But like Dark Tournament, where like, yeah, there's so much stuff happening in the background.
There's
And that,
intrigue.
like, yeah, that gets like put into the tournament as well, but the tournament keeps going. That's the best kind of tournament.
So it's not so much like that. The first tournament arc is that you see, it's purely all character development. It's all the characters, because even in the show they more or less say this is character development. That's not really. It's they do it every year for the students, and they all have this big tournament of the school, and they all watch just to kind of see where they all can rank and what they can do and whatnot. And it's just a chance to practice fighting, essentially practice an actual one-on-one fight with using their powers, what they had learned up to that point. And then the next tournament that goes on where it's more or less like a city where they got to like capture the flag kind of thing.
Okay.
And then another tournament that they just did was that was actually the most recent one, was a capture the flag kind of thing, but it was all character development, all of it, and you get invested in these like the main character Deku Izuku. He where I'm at, he still cannot use 100% of his power.
Can any of us ever?
Well,
I mean,
he can only use less than half of it, and that's far considering he can't even use 1% of it at the beginning.
right. I think my issue with My Hero Academia is nothing to do with My Hero Academia. It's that when I look at the shows I want to watch that are long as well, if I'm going to get into a long anime, I'm going to watch Hunter x Hunter. I'm going to watch, what is it?
I don't know.
I just had it and Clover. Black Clover?
Black Clover,
I'm
okay.
going to watch Black Clover. I'm going to watch Hunter x Hunter. These ones just interest me more.
Fair enough.
So I think there's nothing wrong with My Hero. It's just the things I got to watch first to get to wanting to watch My Hero. It's a lot.
For me, you bring up Hunter x Hunter. I started Hunter x Hunter, and I really, really liked it.
So good, man.
And I made it. This is where people are probably going to kill me. I made it to the Tower of Heaven tournament arc.
Uh-huh.
I don't like it.
What's the Tower of Heaven?
It's when they're in that big, huge tower, and each floor that they go up is another level towards them.
I guess I haven't made it that far.
Oh, well.
How far is that? Like, how many episodes do you think that is? I've watched like 20-something episodes.
It's further than that. It's like closer to 40 or 50.
Wow. You can't just push through that part?
I think I need to just start it over because I was watching it sporadically, because I love the arcs before that when they're running through the woods.
Yeah.
And running through that hallway, and then they do that cooking tournament or whatever it is. You know, all that was just so good to me. And then I don't know if I should spoil.
Don't, because I might not have seen whatever you're going to say.
Well, I won't spoil, but they do a One Piece where they kind of split directions.
Oh,
for a brief
okay.
time. I I won't go into details why or whatever, but they do that.
Okay.
And that's where I'm at. But I fell in love with the four of them together.
It'll come back.
I know,
I'm sure.
oh my God, I cannot stand Nan and Ren and Zets and Pets and Floop and Doop and Blurp and Flurp and...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the fighting power, it's their fighting system that they come up with.
People love the fighting system.
I don't get it. There's like 9 different I need to just rewatch it. And then my friend Sam tried to explain it to me. He was like, 9 is this and 10 is this and bedded. And I was like, it's like explaining a card game to me. It's just going right over my head.
So it's very complicated.
I thought it was. Maybe it won't be for you. Maybe if I rewatch it, it won't be. All I remember is there's Nen and Ren and Ten, and then there's Zets and 4 or 5 other martial art power level skills that you have to master to be able to do. And
I mean, if you don't want to rewatch it, just please, God, Dakota, someday
I wanna read the
before you
manga.
die. I've heard the manga is almost a novel at some points. There's whole pages that are just text. So people actually recommend the anime over the manga on Hunter x Hunter.
fair enough.
One of those few where they recommend the anime.
All right.
Please, God, watch or read. I don't care. Yu Yu Hakusho. Please.
I will.
God, you got at least. I was gonna say at least through the Dark Tournament. I talk about how the Dark Tournament's the best tournament arc, but like, I think I like the arc after the Dark Tournament even better. You gotta see it.
That is on me and Ariel's, my wife's list to
Yeah,
watch.
you just gotta get through that beginning part, which I actually like. I like the very beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho. And then I like the Dark Tournament, which happens around like episode 20 something. It's that part between the beginning and the Dark Tournament where it's like, you gotta see it because you gotta know these things, but it gets a little slow.
I remember the beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho, specifically, I think it was like the first 26 episodes, felt very Saturday morning cartoony. Like,
do they? I mean, I just rewatched
more
them.
in the way that they were. Maybe not. It's just how I remember it.
Okay.
That's just how it might not be that way. I just remember it feeling not like one of the darker set, like the Batman the animated series kind of thing, like more gritty.
I mean, that's how Hitman Reborn is. Hitman Reborn, because it started out as like a slice of life sort of comedy manga anime, and then like 20 episodes in, they're like battle. And so it gets super good, but those first few episodes is like the first like 20 episodes. It's like, what am I watching? It's funny, it's enjoyable, but I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was.
Oh, that's really funny.
So I wanted to talk about some things. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I can talk about another show that I'm watching later.
Okay, the first one I wanted to talk about before I get into the bigger one that I've been doing recently, which you know about. Is The Last of Us. I want to talk about it again.
I'm not caught up.
God dang it,
I
Dakota.
thought they came out on Sundays. I thought it was coming
They
out today.
do, but because of the Super Bowl, they put it out on Friday.
I didn't know that was happening. And then I didn't realize until last night, and it was too late that it was already out. And I was like, crap. And I did kind of want to watch it before I came over today, but it was early.
But you played the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the new episode is, I'm not going to say everything, but it's Sam and Henry.
It's that part?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it is good. They go through their whole story.
Oh, okay. So it focuses on them. Does it end with that part?
Yeah.
Oh man, so we're at the.
But I'm not gonna tell you what happens because some things are different. You know how they change things in the show.
We're definitely in the halfway point.
Yeah, there's only 9 episodes in this season, so this is episode 5.
So do you think season 2 will be Last of Us Part 2? That's what
100%. The way that it's moving, I think we're gonna.
Game.
Yeah, we're gonna end Last of Us 1 with the end of.
Did you play Last of Us 2?
Not yet. I'm going to. After this season ends, I'm going to go down to GameStop and grab it.
Yeah, that's probably... Well, I finished the last game with my wife, so we'll probably play the part 2.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but mixed things on it.
Same. I've heard people say...
It's one of the best games you'll ever play.
Yep.
And then I've heard other people say, it'll just make you mad.
I think I know why.
I don't know.
I don't know 100% the spoilers, but I think I know.
I think
I heard it somewhere, and I don't want to look it up and confirm it. I'm just gonna wait and play it. But I'm very I'm very easy to please. I don't think
you're easy to pleasey.
I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I'm sure. But I saw somebody talking about it, saying that whether you loved or hated it in the game, they think that if they do the story of Last of Us Part 2 in the show, it will be like a like a revolutionary. I don't know if revolutionary is the right word, but it will be an insane thing to see on TV like we haven't seen before. It will like completely shock everyone. I don't know why because I haven't played it still, but I'm interested to see how that will go.
What have they not? What?
Yeah, what did they do that could
Now
do
you're gonna
that?
talk crap about Cowboy Bebop.
I love Cowboy Bebop. I just think it's overrated.
Oh, okay.
You can love something and think it's overrated.
Okay. That is what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I love it, but especially that last episode, the fight between. Yes, it's so cool. Even though I had it spoiled for me.
Oh, I've had so many. It's part of the reason I haven't finished Death Note.
You gotta finish Death Note, even if it's spoiled for you.
Actually, it was spoiled for me a long time ago, but now I don't remember what happened.
Okay, great.
So I do want to rewatch it.
That was also Code Geass for me. You remember Tyler spoiled that for me? Do you remember?
I think he spoiled it for me too, and was it at Ace? Was it at ASIN?
No, it was the Anime Crossroads, our first one.
Okay, I wasn't watching it at the time.
I think he spoiled it for you at ASIN. Yeah, I remember him spoiling it for you.
because I was mad.
He spoiled it for me at Crossroads, and then you at ASIN. I remember he just enjoyed it, spoiling it. I guess.
You loved spoiling anime, dude.
Yeah, I was just sitting there, and I mentioned that I'm watching Code Geass. I was excited about it. He turned around and just said the ending.
He would do that with like a lot.
That was effed up. I don't understand what's the problem.
He would do it with shows he didn't like.
He loves Code Geass, or he did. I remember.
You want to talk about a country? Well, let's not get into.
We shouldn't get into.
We shouldn't get into past friends.
The other one that I wanted to talk about is, since you are not caught up on Last of Us.
Yeah.
But very good. That's all I'll say.
I heard it was good.
It's great. The other one I want to talk about is Harry Potter.
All right, now we should address something. A lot of people have issues with Harry Potter series because of things J.K. Rowling has said. You know, so keep in mind, neither of us support her opinions on matters, but I can look past that because the stories that have been written have brought me so much joy throughout my entire life.
Also, as someone who's playing this game, there are so many gay, lesbian, and trans. There's a trans character in this game.
I'm sure that's on purpose.
I'm sure it is, but yeah, the game is trying to like represent these communities,
which is good. That's good.
Yeah,
you know, if it's done in a great way, I think that's very good.
I made the decision a long time ago to separate the author from the artist, and the art from the artist, and I know not everybody does that, and I know there are going to be people who tell me that that's irresponsible and that's bad, but I just love Harry Potter, man. Like
I saw a post that put it down perfectly. It said that the person, I'm assuming, was trans or gay or something, but they said that they get it, they don't care if you want to do Harry Potter, fine, but we need to respect why someone in their situation would want to distance themselves from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I don't want to get into this whole controversy about it, but
I feel like it should be brought up just to know that we don't support views, but we do love Harry Potter.
So, and if you love Harry Potter,
of course, yes.
If you love Harry Potter, this game is a dream come true. Like,
I can imagine.
Straight up. I was worried. I wanted to play this for years when it was first announced and we got the first trailer and everything. But there's always that worry. This studio, they made the Cars video games. They made
the
Disney
first Cars
Infinity.
video game is good.
I'm just saying I'm not saying they're a bad studio by any means. These were successful games. I'm just saying they've never made something of this caliber. So there was a lot of worry of like, can this... I don't think it'll be bad, but will it meet these expectations that people have? Can it work? And it does. They did it.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's, for me, and I know I'm fanboying a little bit because I love like this world and this series. It's like perfect. I mean, okay, there are some little problems. I wouldn't give it a 10.
What's this I hear about with like this thing where you gotta move the wand and hit X.
I don't know why some people don't like that. I think it's fine. It's when you learn new spells.
Do you have to do that for every spell? Every time you
the
use
very first time you learn it.
That's
it's like, yeah, it's
That makes sense.
It's super
like
easy
doing the
to
Wind
do.
Waker.
Yeah, it's very easy to do.
I
have no problem with it.
I guess the Wind Waker you have to do every time though. But
Yeah, you just learn the new spell and then you've got it and then you just go. I will say the controls are fine, but I do wish so like you press R2 and then you press one of the face buttons to use your different spells. But you only get 4 at a time. And then if you just tap R2, you get like just one like attack spell, like a standard attack spell.
okay,
But
sounds similar to the old Sorcerer's Stone gameplay.
I mean it's good.
Or
My
Chamber of
only
Secrets.
My only problem is that I wish, like on the D-pad or something, I could press up or something to cycle through my spells. Because there's a lot of spells you learn. And so you have to press right on the D-pad.
So you're wanting it to be more like Kingdom Hearts, where you can have your main 4 magic, but if you want to go through like other things,
yes,
potions or whatever, you can.
No. Potions and stuff are somewhere else. This is just for magic because there's so much just magic you can use.
Yeah, but I mean, like pull it up on the side.
In a fight, I can't. Like it's very annoying. Even like going through a puzzle or something where it takes multiple different spells to figure it out. Having to go into this bigger menu, find the magic, attach it to a key or a button, go back out, use it. Only need it once, and then need that other magic that I just replaced. Not realizing I was going to need that. Like, I got to go back in and replace it again. I don't know why they couldn't have just made a button where I click it and it rotates through different like preset magic layouts. But that's my only complaint.
Now it's doesn't it take place like 200 years?
It's 100 years before Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's late 1800s.
So is Dumbledore? He's not even a thing.
No.
Who's the headmaster?
Do you want these spoilers?
I mean, I'm not that worried about it. I don't want major story spoilers, but
guys, we're recording on OBS now. I changed things. I haven't made a thing that says spoilers yet. So I can't do that. But just skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to hear about this. I'm sorry I forgot to set that up. I'll have it for next time. Okay, spoilers are coming in 3, 2, 1. There are 2 headmasters. They are a ancestor of Sirius, I believe, because their last name is Black.
Okay.
And Weasley. Yes.
What? Does that fit in the lore?
I don't know why it wouldn't, because the Weasleys have been like a prominent family in the wizarding community for, they say in the books, for hundreds of years.
But then why are they so looked down upon?
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen throughout the story. Maybe something will happen. I don't know. But I will say I like it's a headmaster and then like a co-headmaster. So like a vice headmaster.
And vice principal.
Yeah, and the I can't remember her name now, but Mrs. Weasley is the co. And then
of course the man is in charge.
He sucks. I hate him.
Oh.
I absolutely hate him. She's more like a Dumbledore type figure. Okay. I really like her. She's cool.
Well, I think the Black family was known for being kind of callous in the story, weren't they?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. But I think what I love about this game so much is the attention to detail to Harry Potter and to this series in general. Because, yeah, they built... what they did, I didn't know what they were going to do in a way of like... The movie is not always accurate to how things were described in the book. Like as far as the settings and things. Because they had to film somewhere. Yeah. It can't always be exactly 1-to-1. It seems like anything that we see in the movie, at least a lot, it's the same as in the game. It's the same. Okay. So you have these same areas where you're like, I literally know this from the movie. Like I know exactly what classroom this is. I've seen it so many times. But then anything that wasn't really in the movie but was described well in the book, it's as it was in the book. And
how's the Great Hall? I feel like that's pretty cool.
I think it's smaller than it looked in the movie. It's the one that's like a little bit smaller for some, but I've only been in there once or twice. I need to visit it again.
Because that was the one I was like, oh, I bet it's going to look awesome.
It does look awesome, but it's not like, I don't know why to me it just looked a little smaller, where everything else feels so big.
Fair enough.
But the thing that I mean when I say the attention to detail that is really cool is that they just included, as me who like read the books, I did watch the movies first, but it was as a kid, and I don't remember them. I didn't remember them that well. I read the books again a couple years ago, and for me, that was my first real full Harry Potter experience. When I watched the movies, there's so many things missing, but they're there in the game. Like You know Peeves? Okay, Peeves is a huge character. I don't want to say huge character, but he's in every single book. He's a ghost. He's like a prankster ghost, and he causes a ton of trouble.
I think I have heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not in any of the movies. I think maybe you see him in the background for 1 second doing something, but he's never pointed out in the movies. He's in the game, like all over the place. You just go somewhere and he's like causing trouble, like doing all this crazy stuff. They even put him into part of the story. And there's also a knight in a painting that we see a lot throughout the books, and some stuff happens with him later that never, or maybe he makes one small appearance in the movie. Maybe says one thing. I can't remember. He's there in the game. Like he's in his painting and we can see him and like he's doing stuff. And I don't know. It's just cool that they added in these things from the book that didn't make it into the movie. It's like really filling the world out completely. So,
as an aside, what's your favorite of the Harry Potter movies?
Of the movies?
The books, that's a different beast. What's your favorite of the movies? I've never read the books.
Well, my favorite book is easier for me. It's the 6th book.
Okay.
Which one is that?
Half-Blood
Prince.
And that's easily
yes,
the most boring of all the movies.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie nearly as much.
The movie is incredibly boring. Even Daniel Radcliffe doesn't
I
like
was
it.
when I watched, after reading that book, I was really hyped to see the movie and watched it. And at the end, I was like, what did they do?
It felt like they were rushing through it so they could get to Deathly Hallows.
I mean, there was cool stuff in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But generally, it
It feels like that was one they were just like, okay, we need to do this one so we can move on to the last two and finish this, please.
I mean, it's a lot easier for me to say my least favorite movie is the 5th. I really dislike Order of the Phoenix, book and movie. I don't like either
fair.
one.
You don't even like the book, though. So
yeah, I don't like either one. If I were to read Harry Potter again, I would read Order of the Phoenix, but I wouldn't be excited about it. My favorite movie, I'm sorry, bro. I think it's Goblet of Fire.
I've come more around on that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely 6 is my least favorite. Goblet of Fire, the movie, has some of the best moments in the entire franchise.
It does.
It really does.
You
But
always hate on, or you have hated on it in the
I
past.
still will talk shit about that movie. Oh, apologies. I will still talk a lot of mess about that movie.
I rewatched it recently, and I know your biggest issue was like the Yule Ball.
It's the Yule Ball, dude.
It's good.
No,
What's
it
wrong
is
with
not. It is so bad.
When's the last time you watched it?
Like a year ago.
What's wrong with it?
It's drawn out. They focus way too much on Harry and Ron sulking, and then their dates being that they were forced into being going on with just because they needed a date. Hermione rubbing in both their faces that the dude she didn't even like went with her, even though she didn't even want to go with him. She was just trying to make Ron jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the whole thing is just contrived. The whole stupid song with the band singing that stupid song. I didn't care to see wizard kids acting like wee woo girls, teenage, yeah.
But they are teenagers.
That's not why I came to Harry Potter.
But
I didn't come to Harry Potter to see them do teenage stuff. I came to see Harry Potter to see them do wizard stuff in a wizard school.
But it's real. They are teenagers. You can't, if you change that about them, it doesn't feel real anymore.
I just don't like that. I've heard in the book it's way better.
It is.
And that's what I want to read the book. That way I can hear what it should have been. Because I already don't like what it was in the movie.
I really desperately want you to read or listen to the books for Harry Potter.
I'm going to.
I want to hear your opinion, how your opinion changes on some things. Because reading the books made me, I've mentioned many times, Ginny is like one of my favorite characters in the whole series.
They do her dirty.
They do her major. That's one of the reasons I also don't like the 6th movie, is because that's the book where I'm like, Ginny is awesome. Like where she really, really grows on me. I mean, I liked her before that, but I hate her in the movie.
Personally, from what I can see, I think the person cast as Ginny was maybe a little miscast.
I feel like it's really hard to say that because they cast them as kids. But yeah, I think she did a great job for what she could do. I think the directing was bad on it too. I think they wrote Ginny out a lot because early on in the books as well, she's there more, but you don't ever think she's going to become so important. Mm-hmm. So I can see why they made these decisions, but
because not even I don't even think the 5th book was the 4th book wasn't even out when the first movies came out.
Yeah, because I remember watching the first movie. There's a sound happening on my PC. Hold on, guys.
I was like, God? I can't remember his name, otherwise I would have said it.
What is happening? It's not. Guys, give me just a sec. Wow, let's just mute that. Okay. There's not playing on our. Yeah, there's no desktop audio. It's one of my wallpapers. Sometimes they play sounds. It must have changed, and it was one that plays sound.
So you gotta wait till it cycles through.
I mean, I can change it. I can just click change. Let me see. Next wallpaper. Let me turn the volume back up and see.
Oh God!
Oh my God! It's even worse now. Next wallpaper. Why do all of them have sound right now? We're just gonna mute it. It doesn't matter. It's not showing up for them.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, I need to make sure that never happens again.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to happen when you have full screen apps up.
Well, L. What did you do? L with an iPhone. I love it.
Anyway, I also want to hear what your thoughts are on what's Snape after the books, because I hate Snape. I don't know why anybody likes him. I think he's an evil character.
That's what I've heard. Because in the movies they make him very redeemable.
Yeah, they try to make him seem better in the movies, but in the books he's just like a douche. Like, he does some good stuff. He does do some good stuff, but to me it was not nearly enough to redeem everything he did.
Like, he was a straight up jerk.
He was he literally tortures children.
Now, in the books, do they explain exactly why Harry's dad bullies Snape? Is that I always assumed it was just Snape couldn't leave well enough alone kind of thing, and Harry's dad just was like, all right, well, I'm not backing down.
Yeah, he bullies Snape because Snape is a creepy freaking dude who literally like stalks Lily and like he's just a freaky guy. Like, when I read it, I was like, okay, I feel for Snape, but I just feel like, and I understand where he came, how he came this way. He's misguided, and you know, he's got the wrong idea about some things, but I don't think that he should have been bullied in that way. But it's not fair to him. What
is that?
Plague Tale.
Oh, gotta play that.
It's
Continue.
not fair to him, but at the same time, he's just not a good dude. And when he becomes an adult, you're an adult now, bro. You're literally bullying the child of your former bully. It's a kid who has nothing to do. He didn't even know his dad growing up. And you're bullying his friends as well, just because they're friends with him?
Taking out the childhood, quote-unquote, abuse from his dad onto his son.
And it's not even just to Harry. If it was just Harry, then it's like, that's still effed up, but at least I get it.
It's everybody.
What he does to, like, Hermione, he just is so horrible to Hermione in the books. I feel horrible
with her,
for
like,
her.
lineage and stuff.
Yeah, like, he's so mean to her, and, like, I can't remember everything that happens. I just remember reading it and, like, bringing the book down sometimes and being like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how can the school let a teacher get away with the stuff this guy does?
Yeah, the movies, they make him very, very, like, when the parts of him getting bullied, they make it seem like Harry's dad was the aggressor.
I mean...
And he was.
They were teenagers and people bully people, and I don't think Harry's dad was in the right.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I see why it happened, but I think that Snape was a creepy dude in school.
They don't make it seem like that in the movies.
Yeah.
They make it seem like he's just kind of a loner, shy guy, and that he has a crush on Lily, and that James just starts bullying him. Oh, Snively's got trousers that I'm gonna take off because he likes me girlfriend. Ah, ha, ha.
Yeah, they were, I don't know. I'd like to hear your opinion on it afterwards. Maybe you'll still like him. Some people do after reading the book and still like him a lot.
I don't know.
But
it depends. I'm a very forgiving person.
Right. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't understand.
I'm very much a benefit of the doubt kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. But I just, after reading the book, I just couldn't, like, how can anyone? It just, I think that, I mean, I don't know this, but I think in the beginning, like in the first few books, I think she didn't know that Snape was going to be
as popular.
I don't know if it's the popularity or if, like, she didn't know where she wanted to go with the character yet. Because I think he's straight up evil in the first few books. And I think he does get better as the books go on. But when you're reading the books, anytime you see Snape, anytime he comes around or says something to Harry, it's like, You like ready yourself because you know it's gonna be bad.
Mm.
It's like never good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Also, they say he guess he was never around as the headmaster.
Mm.
It was the
It's
other
supposed to be
two.
uglier too. Real ugly guy in the books.
Oh, is it?
Have you seen the videos where they've like drawn what they look like in the books?
I've seen some things. Yes, like Hermione's hair is supposed to be like.
Now Hermione's supposed to look really different. She's supposed to have like really buck teeth as well, but they get changed by magic later.
Well, there's a scene in the first movie where they actually do give
Yeah.
Hermione some teeth. They were testing it out, and they were like, you can't even really tell.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's okay to change stuff like that. And Harry's eyes, that's one of the things.
Dude, your eyes are just like your mother's. And then in the movie, his mother has these deep, dark brown eyes.
They're all supposed to be green. His eyes are, they say, like every book, it's mentioned how green his eyes are, like emeralds and lilies as well. And they just dropped that. From what I heard, as I watched them talk about it, I could be wrong on the details, but what I remember is that they tried to give him like colored contacts and it just wasn't working for him. He just couldn't do it.
He was 11 years old.
Yeah, I get it. But
I mean, if Orlando Bloom couldn't do it.
He couldn't?
Yeah, that's why if you watch Lord of the Rings, he's wearing blue contacts as Legolas. But then you go back to The Hobbit, they CG his eyes, and it looks way worse. It looks
really?
Yeah, because they CG it, but his eyes they're a lighter blue, so it doesn't look like him. And because they're CG, they're like lit almost as if his eyes are shining.
Why did nobody tell them to like turn that stuff down? Turn the brightness, saturation.
I don't know why they did what they did with his eyes in that movie. Like, because I get why he didn't want contacts. He had a very hard time with the contacts in the other movies, but that was just all you could do back then.
Right.
And he was just like, can I not do the contacts? And they were like, yeah, we'll CG it. And they did. And I'm not a CG hater. I'm a CG apologist. But sometimes effects don't look good.
Right.
They just don't.
Right.
And that is one of them.
So that's everything I'm doing. Harry Potter and Last of Us.
We're approaching the end of our episode, I think. I think I can end it with, I want to talk about my recommendation.
Okay.
But I want to talk about it for a minute. So we'll just end it with my recommendation.
Okay.
I have been watching, I've told you about the show, I believe. It's a show from the year 2000, the distant past.
Hannah Montana?
Yeah. It was even before Hannah Montana.
Oh.
Hannah Montana was like 2006.
I thought you meant in the 2000s.
No, it was
you
the
mean
year
literally?
2000.
Okay.
It came out, so it's a 23-year-old show.
New millennium.
It is full, I want to preface this, the show is full of 2000s cheese. Like, a lot of cheesiness, a lot of, they use CGI sparingly, so some of it looks nice, but some of it is very, very, very dated.
Okay.
There's an effect where let me tell you what the show's about. The show is called The 10th Kingdom, like I said. It is about, it's a fairy tale world. So kind of like think Once Upon a Time.
Oh, I remember Once Upon a Time.
So think sort of like that. But there is a dimension where there's a land known as the 9 Kingdoms. And each one is ruled by a different fairy tale figure. There's the Cinderella, the Snow White, the Hansel and Gretel, the Red Riding Hood, the Troll King.
Wow.
The Troll Kingdom. So each kingdom is a different fairy tale setting, and everywhere they go in it is a fairy. Like at one point, they're walking through the beanstalk forest.
Mm-hmm.
That was all the beanstalks fell from the beanstalk that Jack planted when he defeated the giant.
It's cool.
So, and it takes place 200 years after all those events. Like all those events happened around the same time in that canon, and the show takes place 200 years after. Now, it's called. You notice I said 9 kingdoms there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The show's called The 10th Kingdom, being that at one point a character stumbles upon a mirror that is a portal to our dimension.
That's cool.
And 3 trolls chasing the character go through it as well, and they're in a medieval setting, and they come and they see New York City. They end up in Central Park.
In the year 2000.
In the year 2000. So it's lights everywhere, and the 3 trolls, they claim New York as the 10th Kingdom.
Wow.
Now, Forget everything about the 10th kingdom because the rest of the show takes place in the 9 kingdoms.
Really?
Yeah, the 10th kingdom is in the beginning of the show and the end because they get sucked into the world, the main characters. They get sucked into this world. And the mirror gets stolen and they got to go through trials and tribulations to get the mirror back. And each episode they're going through a different fairy tale setting following this mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one thing I will say, the most boring parts. Now my wife is enjoying it because I'm having her watch it. She's enjoying it, but I've seen it a million times. If you got it, it's a mini series. It's only about.
Just Googling it so I can look at it real quick. Just so you know.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're Googling the show?
Yeah. I'm just letting you know I picked up my phone not to text.
Oh, you're good.
I want to see a picture while you're talking.
But what was I saying?
Your wife's watching it? The most boring part.
She's liking it, but it starts off there in New York, and then they go to the fairy tale world. The father ends up in prison, fairy tale prison for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then they escape, and then they're on a boat. And once they get off that boat, I swear the show picks up.
Okay.
I swear it picks up, and it's
How long is this show?
It's a mini series, so it's not long at all. Each episode's about an hour and a half long, but it's only like 8 episodes. I told you some of the effects are dated.
I'm seeing a man who is a dog.
He's in the middle of turning into a dog. He's being transformed. A witch is turning him into a dog.
So is this show good?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just early 2000s cheesy.
I've never heard of this before. Was this popular?
It was one of those ones that I loved, and I know it's got a cult. It's one of those cult following shows.
Mm.
And it was never meant to like get a continuation because it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could continue it. Like it ends with her saying, the main character saying, "But that's a story for another time" or something like that. But like hinting that like if this goes well, we could do more. But
it didn't.
I don't know if it did
It didn't
well.
go
It was
that
all. I
well.
think it was always intended as because even when I was a kid, it was like the new miniseries event.
So you watched it as a kid?
Yeah. I was telling my wife this throughout the show, not most, but a good chunk of the show, they build up Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say how or why or what, but they're building up that we're going to see Snow White's story and what happened to lead to the events that are happening now in the story kind of thing. And they build it up and build it up and build it up. And you're like, yes. And then the episode the night before, they're like, tomorrow, Snow White. And you're like, yes. I was excited. I tell my parents, we're going to see Snow White's story. Yes. I was like 7 at the time and I was excited.
Your parents were like, this kid's a loser.
No, they were excited with me. We were all
Okay.
excited. We were like, yeah, we're excited. Call me a loser. I was 7. But made it there, started watching the episode. I fell asleep.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So you never saw it until later?
Not until they got it, that Christmas. They got it for me on DVD.
Oh,
so I
I
finally
see.
did get to see the Snow White
Why
part.
did they not wake you up?
I think they tried. I think she said I tried.
Oh.
Yeah, she did. She said I tried to wake you up, but
I was like, they knew you were so excited. How could they not
she
try
tried.
to
And
wake
I think
you up?
I wouldn't stir. And then I remember waking up and I was like, no.
I'd have been like, boy, you better get up and start doing some jumping jacks. You're
and
staying
then
up for
when
this.
I did finally watch that part years later, whatever it was very satisfying.
Okay.
Or not years, months later.
So is this why you ended up liking Once Upon a Time later on?
Once Upon a Time has...
'Cause it sounds similar-ish.
It's
kinda.
very similar in concept. I think... Whereas Once Upon a Time goes off the freaking rails, this stays very much the course.
Mm.
You know, it's a very straightforward adventure story. A, B, C, D, E happens.
Mm.
You know, an Odyssey type story. You know, they got to go through trials, tribulations. Whereas Once Upon a Time, man, how far did you get in that show?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Dude, I stopped after... I think I stopped after they did all the Wizard of Oz stuff.
Oh, I didn't even make it to
No, Frozen. I stopped after the Frozen stuff.
Oh, I definitely didn't make it that far.
Yeah.
I think I watched one season. That's it. I don't think I ever met. Did I? I can't remember if I made it to Hook.
Dude,
Like,
Hook's
maybe-
awesome. Hook is the
When
best
is
character.
that?
I think season 2?
I'm pretty sure I only watched season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Hook because everyone talked about it.
Dude, he was awesome. He's the best character.
I remember seeing Hurley.
Yeah, he was a giant.
Yeah.
He was a giant. He was really cool, but
thought
he
that
was
was
he was
cool.
more. He was in one episode, and then every now and then. The thing about that show is it was episodic, so they would because every character they would go like Lost. It was by the Lost writers.
Yeah.
So, but instead of doing a flashback to flash times, the flashback would go to back in the fairy tale world.
That's why I watched it to begin with,
Because it was
I love Lost.
very cool. So like that episode with Hurley, he plays a giant. They flash back to his episode with him as the giant. And then it cuts to now he's just kind of a regular sized big dude in the town.
Mm-hmm.
He will pop up after that occasionally.
He was busy, man.
To say a liner. But they do that with tons of characters.
Oh, okay, I see.
Red Riding Hood, they completely just ride out of the show.
This is good.
Huh?
That's good.
No.
Oh.
No, she was cool.
Oh.
She was like a werewolf.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she was the big bad wolf.
Spoilers, dude.
You're not going to watch it.
You don't know that. So you don't know our listeners might want to watch it
Red
someday.
Riding Hood was the big bad wolf. End of story. It goes nowhere.
All right, bro. We're over time.
All
so
right.
is that what you're
Yes, I
recommending?
recommend 10th Kingdom. You just got to, if you can get past some...
Where do you watch it? You don't know?
I have the Blu-ray.
Oh.
But if you can get the Blu-ray, I think you can rent it on like YouTube and Amazon. It might be free on Amazon. I haven't checked.
Uh-huh.
Or if you have Prime, of course. But if you can find your way to watch that, if you can get past some dated effects, but consider that it was a TV show from 2000 that is not bad for the time being a TV show, but some dated effects and some very, very early 2000s cheese. Like a lot of
Gouda? Cheddar?
I wouldn't say it was very Gouda. No, just a little corny, little cheesy moments.
Is it cheese or corn?
Yes.
I'm getting
cheesy corn.
confused.
Some cheesy corn.
Okay.
But that's what I recommend. 10th Kingdom.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Stay nerdy, everybody.